So, we were talking the other day about how robots are starting to really see the world.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do a deep dive into one of the key technologies that's making all that possible.
Okay.
It's called ORB-SLAM3.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
It is, right. ORB-SLAM3, it's this open source system.
Open source.
Yeah, open source, so anybody can use it.
That's cool.
It came out of the University of Zaragoza, and it's basically letting robots and all kinds of other devices actually understand the space around them, like where they are and what's around them.
So it's like giving them a sense of their surroundings.
Exactly, yeah, like how we use our eyes and ears to figure out where we are.
Makes sense.
Now, the real core challenge here, and this is what ORB-SLAM3 is tackling, is something called simultaneous localization and mapping.
Slam.
Yeah,
Sounds intense.
it kind of is, but think of it this way. Imagine you're in a pitch black room, right? You can't see anything.
Okay.
You got to feel your way around, build up a mental map of the room, and at the same time, you're trying to figure out where you are in that map.
So you're doing both at once.
Exactly, both at the same time.
It's tricky.
And that's what ORB-SLAM3 lets robots do, but in real time.
In real time, so as they're
As
moving.
they're moving around.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It is pretty amazing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, why should I even care about this robot stuff? Well, here's the thing. Understanding ORB-SLAM3 gives you this sneak peek into the future of all sorts of things, like robotics, of course, but also augmented reality, those AR experiences.
Right, where things pop up on your phone.
Exactly. But with ORB-SLAM3, those AR experiences can stick to the real world, even when you move around.
Oh, so they're not just floating around randomly anymore.
No, they're actually anchored to the real world. And even things like self-driving cars rely on similar technologies.
So this has real-world applications.
Absolutely. Now, we don't want to bog you down with all the crazy technical details, but one of the cool things about ORB-SLAM3 is that it's super adaptable.
Adaptable? What do you mean?
So it can use input from a bunch of different sensors.
Oh, like what?
Regular cameras, stereo cameras that see in 3D, RGB-D cameras that give you color and depth information.
Okay.
And even IMUs, those sensors that, in your phone, tell you which way is up.
Oh, yeah. I know those. My phone's always flipping the screen around.
Exactly. And all that info helps the system understand its surroundings even better.
So the more sensors, the better.
Pretty much, yeah. It means that ORB-SLAM3 can be customized to all sorts of different applications and environments.
That makes sense. So how does it actually work? What's going on inside the system?
Right, so a key piece of the puzzle is something called ORB features.
ORB, like what's an ORB feature?
Imagine you're looking at a scene and you pick out really distinctive points, like a sharp corner, a unique texture, something that stands out.
Okay, yeah.
ORB features are kind of like that for the system. They're like visual landmarks that it can recognize and then remember for later.
Gotcha, so it's like taking mental snapshots of important points?
Exactly. And then it uses these visual cues to figure out how it's moving. That's called visual odometry.
Visual odometry, so it's using what it sees to track its own movement.
Exactly. But it doesn't stop there. It's constantly refining these movement estimates to get super accurate.
So it's always double-checking and making sure it's right.
Yeah. And that refining process is called pose optimization.
Pose optimization.
It's all about getting the most accurate position and orientation, like where it is and which way it's facing.
That sounds pretty complex.
It is, but this is where it gets really cool. What happens if the robot gets lost? Imagine the lighting changes suddenly, or everything starts to look the same.
Uh-oh, sounds like trouble.
It could be, but ORB-SLAM3 has this really clever trick up its sleeve.
Oh.
It's called a multiple map system.
Multiple maps.
Yeah, so if it gets lost, it can just start building a new map of its surroundings.
Okay.
And then later, if it recognizes something from an old map, it can merge the two together.
So it's like piecing together different maps to get the full picture.
Right, and that means it can recover from getting lost much more easily than older systems.
Wow, that's pretty smart.
It's like having a built-in safety net.
Yeah, makes it much more reliable.
Exactly, and that's really important in the real world,
Right, because things aren't always perfect.
No, they're not. Think about a robot working in a warehouse with flickering lights or a drone flying through a forest.
Where things could change quickly.
Exactly. And ORB-SLAM3 can handle those kinds of challenging situations much better than older systems.
So this is a big step forward for robots and things like that.
It really is. And the applications are already popping up everywhere.
Like what?
We're seeing it in robots that can navigate on their own augmented reality that feels way more real because virtual objects stay put, and in creating those detailed 3D maps we talked about.
Oh, yeah, and self-driving cars too, right?
Absolutely. Self-driving cars and drones are using this kind of technology to understand the world around them.
So this is pretty groundbreaking stuff.
It is. And here's another cool thing. ORB-SLAM3 is open source.
Open source. So anyone can use it.
Anyone, yeah. Researchers, developers, anyone can access the code, use it, improve it.
So that means more people are working on it, making it even better.
Exactly. And that kind of collaborative development is really important for pushing innovation forward.
That makes sense.
So, to sum it all up, ORB-SLAM3 is a really big deal in the world of SLAM technology.
It's like the next generation.
It's more accurate, more robust, and more versatile than a lot of the older systems out there.
And that's thanks to the way it uses different sensors, the clever way it identifies those ORB features, and that amazing multiple map system.
Right. It's paving the way for smarter robots, more immersive AR and VR experiences, and who knows what else in the future.
Makes you wonder what else is possible.
It really does. So here's a question for you and for all our listeners out there.
Okay,
Thinking about what OR-SLAM3 can do, what completely new applications or industries do you think might be most profoundly changed by these advancements in like robotic perception and spatial understanding in the next few years? It's definitely something to think about. What could this unlock that we haven't even thought of yet?
yeah, it's mind-blowing. Who knows what the future holds?
Exactly.
That's what makes it exciting.
Absolutely. All right, that's our deep dive on ORB-SLAM3.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.